Hello. In this video, I'm going to let you in on one of the best kept secrets in the world today. This one secret is the very essence of what has gone wrong with our economy and holds the key to how we can fix it and create for ourselves and our children a land of true opportunity. This is the deep, dark secret that everyone wants to keep quiet, because if you knew the truth, it would be very upsetting and has even led to revolution in the past. But don't worry. We won't have to go that far to regain the power over our economy, but we will probably ruffle some very powerful feathers. Did you know that when you walk into a bank to take out a loan, that the bank actually creates brand new money out of thin air to fund your loan? It's true. In our banking system, new money is created when someone borrows it into existence and signs a promise to repay. I know that sounds absurd, but I can assure you that it's true. It's this process of credit creation that allows the big Wall Street banks to extract wealth from the people year after year. It's this process that allows and creates the 1% and the 99%, the haves and the have-nots. It's this process that is keeping the economy from reaching the kind of steady growth that we can use to lift people out of poverty and despair and into prosperity and abundance. This is not the way we should be running our society. Allowing private banks to create money from nothing and charge interest on it is quite frankly outrageous. The problem is created because in order to buy a house at 6% interest rate over 30 years, you'll have to pay back roughly 3 times as much as you borrowed. When the state wants to build a new bridge or new courthouse or a new school, as much as 30 to 50% of the total cost is just interest to pay the private banks that created the money out of nothing. This is taxpayer money being funneled systematically into the richest people of our society. The plain truth is that we're being ripped off by the banks, and we need to get the power back from them and put our economy to work for the people instead of just the banks. If they can be the bank, we can be the bank. The politicians are not going to solve this problem for you because their jobs depend on the very systems that need to be fixed. The people that benefit from the system of credit creation have bought and sold your elected officials, and it's been this way for a very long time. What needs to happen is that we restore the power of credit creation to we the people through publicly owned banks. Yes, we the people can own a bank. About 40% of the world's banks are publicly owned, and the people are much better off than they would be otherwise. Some people will say that it doesn't work that way here. But did you know that the state of North Dakota has had its own publicly owned bank for more than 90 years? They do, and the people of North Dakota benefit greatly because of it. They have the lowest unemployment rate in the country. They've had no bank failures in the Great Recession, and they have the lowest rate of credit card defaults in the country. They're always wrestling with what to do with their record budget surpluses. Now this is an economy that's working for the people. Does your state run that well? I'm guessing that it doesn't. Could you benefit from a publicly owned bank? Could your city, county, or state benefit from a public bank? You bet they could. If a state starts a public bank, everyone in that state wins. It can also happen at the county level and even on the city level. Currently, there is a movement across the nation to develop public banks in as many as 20 states, and several counties and cities are looking at this solution as well. Let me tell you how it works. If we know that banks create new money when people get loans, it gets even more interesting when you know that banks can create a lot more money than they have on hand. All they have to do is meet a reserve requirement of cash on hand, and business goes on as usual. This is great news, and I'll tell you why. Let's take a very simple example. Let's say there are 50,000 homes in your town, and everyone has a mortgage at 6% interest, paying $2,000 per month. Now, for the sake of this video, we'll say that the monthly payment is half interest. That's $50 million a month in interest to the banks for nothing. If your city started a super bank, they could refinance all these loans at, say, 3%, and the people in that town would save an extra $500 a month in their pocket every month. If 50,000 homeowners in your town suddenly had an extra $500 in spending money every month, that's $25 million in available cash that can be spent in your local restaurants and flower shops and car dealerships and more every month. Putting this kind of money back to work in the economy is a huge boost for everyone in the community, but that's just the beginning. The 3% interest on the home loans is no longer leaving your city every month to some Wall Street bank. Your city's own super bank is now collecting $25 million per month in interest to provide services to the residents and to help keep taxes low. This is a very powerful concept. The super bank could do low-interest car loans, low-interest student loans, low-interest business loans, and really save their constituents a fortune in horrible interest charges, all while funding the city operations and keeping taxes even lower. Starting a publicly owned superbank is a great idea for every city, every county, and every state. Managing the economy and the process of credit creation for the benefit of the people instead of the 1% is an idea whose time has come. We've seen the devastation the current private money system has created. It's time we used the money as a public utility that it is. It's time for visionary leadership to deliver true results for the working people and to stop catering to the special interests of the moneyed elites. We have to stop being ripped off by the private banks and start using our credit and interest payments for our own benefit instead. The best thing that any government can do for its people is to use the credit creation process for the benefit of the people as a whole. In this way, money can become the servant to humanity rather than the master of humanity. This small change in how state government works can create enormous economic activity for the people of the state. It will work for a county, it'll work for a city, but we have to start now. The current system of debt slavery is destroying the economy that was designed to support. The federal government pays more than $400 billion a year to private banks for interest on our national debt. The state governments are paying hundreds of billions more. The cities and the counties are in debt. The businesses and the citizens are all in debt. Even all of our students are burdened with an enormous amount of student debt. The only way this is even possible is if the system is broken. The system needs the simple reform of making we the people the bank, and we the people are the beneficiaries of all the interest that we're paying. This is the solution, and now is the time for making the change. If we allow the current system to continue, it will end very badly, so we must act now for public banking at every level of government. It's time that the people were given the power and the opportunity to once again achieve the American dream of prosperity for themselves and their children. We can make America a great country again, but it starts by putting an end to the needless usury that is built into our banking system. I'm tired of watching politicians talk a good game and never actually deliver results for the people. I'm tired of paying billions of dollars a year for government services when those same services could be provided for free. I'm tired of watching generation after generation of Americans work harder and longer just to make ends meet. There are solutions to the problems that we face. The solutions are very simple and would deliver enormous benefit to the people if we had the right politicians, if we had someone with visionary ideas for delivering prosperity to the people, if we had someone who actually had a plan to stop the systemic extraction of wealth from the people and design economic policies that empower people for success, we could turn this economy around in almost no time. We do have such a man. Farid Khavari is an economist who has written 10 books focusing on the solutions to our problems, not more empty promises. The Khavari economic plan will save the government billions in interest while providing more services to the people. The Khavari plan will reduce the cost of infrastructure spending by 30 to 50% or more. The Khavari economic plan will create 1 million new private sector jobs without subsidies and while growing the tax base. What you need to understand is that we're not suffering a bad economy for any other reason than we have bad policy. We can put people to work in high-paying jobs with benefits. We can save the taxpayers thousands of dollars per month in unnecessary interest charges. We can save the government billions in overcharges by Wall Street banks. It's time to take the economy back for the people. It's time we put someone in office with an actual plan for creating prosperity for the working class. It's time to elect Farid Khavari, Governor of Florida.